Hello bookworms, it's Jade from Bedtime Bookworm and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with my spoiler book chat for The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. So just to be clear, this video is completely full of spoilers. Do not watch it if you haven't read the book, or I guess as long as you still plan to read the book. Oh my gosh, there are so many things that I want to say about this book. So like I said in my spoiler-free review, I just thought it was way too convoluted. And I honestly really wish that the book had been written in a linear timeline. I just really don't understand how the days were all happening at the same time. He has 8 days to solve the mystery, and he's in a different body every day, but it's like all of those days are happening at once because he could interact with other people that he was in the bodies of, and sometimes he could change things that happened and sometimes he couldn't. And I did understand that there were some things he wanted to do in a specific way, like recreate what he did before to make sure that those things happened again, like things that led to him getting clues. But I just found the whole thing really confusing. And I usually like time travel books, and while this isn't necessarily like strictly time travel, that's kind of what it is, and I didn't get it. Okay, so my main beef with this book, other than just being like too convoluted, was the ending. That ending was insane, and to me, not in a good way. Finding out that Evelyn wasn't actually Evelyn was definitely a really big surprise to me, and I feel like there was no way I could have guessed that based on the clues that we were given. I find it kind of hard to believe. I know a lot of people can change the way they look from when they were a kid to an adult, but can they really change that much? I mean, I guess in the 1920s, you don't really have like pictures and things to remind you what someone used to look like. I guess that's why they were trying to get the paintings redone. But I just had a hard time believing that nobody recognized that the person who was Evelyn was not actually Evelyn. And I guess we're supposed to believe that she's some sort of like sociopath, which I think is a cool idea. I just wish we had been given more information about that. So I really liked the reveal when we find out that Michael actually is the one who killed his sister because he wanted to still get his inheritance, but also didn't want to force his sister to live an unhappy married life. I really like that ending. I wish that's where the book had ended, and I would have been fairly satisfied with this book. Probably would have given it 4 stars. Although, okay, now I'm not remembering if he knew that it wasn't actually his sister. I guess he had to have, because he knows what his sister looks like. But I don't know if we knew that. Either way, whether or not he knew someone was impersonating his sister or if he thought he was killing his sister, either of those, I would have enjoyed those endings a lot more than what actually ended up happening. I just thought Michael being the killer made a lot of sense, and I was good with that answer. But then we find out, I think after that, we find out that Evelyn is not actually Evelyn. Because of the time jumps, it's really hard for me to remember when we found out different pieces of information. So then we find out that Evelyn's not really Evelyn, and you have that whole scene where Anna told the real Evelyn to come to the room that they were in at the end, and there's all these crazy reveals. That's when I just felt like things were a little too much. I thought the author was trying a little too hard to surprise me, and it was already convoluted, and now it was like even more convoluted, and again, it was something that I could not have guessed was coming. I didn't like that how when it ended, there was another woman who killed the real Evelyn, and they were able to use that answer to get out of this jail that they're in. And that brings me to this whole other thing about this being like a futuristic prison setting and things like that. I thought that idea was really interesting, and I honestly wish it had been explored further. I am a big Black Mirror fan, which that's what this prison reveal like reminded me of, but I have so many questions about the logistics of it. Like, are they aging? Are they in some sort of virtual reality and are totally like separate from their bodies? So like these like, I don't know, 30 years that have been happening, have they happened in like an instant in real life, or is it playing out in like real time? I had so many questions about that whole aspect of it, and I really wish that had been expanded upon. I think that would have been really interesting, but I hate that it was revealed at the very end. I mean, there were kind of some hints and clues throughout the story, but like you don't really understand until the end. And even then you don't really understand because it just opens up a whole new can of worms about how this was happening, why it was happening. I want to know so much more about what happens when they escape. The plague doctor basically implies that he's letting them both go when he's not supposed to, and that they're going to have to like be on the run for the rest of their lives. How does that logistically work? Like, are they gonna have to escape from like an actual building that they're in? How would they do that? I just have so many questions, and I was so frustrated by the end of the book. But yeah, overall, I just felt like the book was too convoluted, too contrived. I didn't like the Evelyn is not really Evelyn twist, and then having this other person come and murder her, and that being the answer that gets them out of the prison just made no sense to me, because even the plague doctor didn't know that Evelyn wasn't really Evelyn. Also, I'm very like confused about what is the point of all of this. Like, I understand it's a form of torture for the people who are in this prison, but what is the point of solving this murder in particular? Because presumably this is happening way in the future, so it's not like they can go back and punish whoever did it, because whoever did it is already dead. I do think that the book raised some really interesting ideas about like morality and forgiveness, and the idea that Aidan was able to forgive Anna and could see, or at least thought he saw, that she was a different person now than she was when she did all the terrible things that put her in this place. I found all of that stuff really interesting, but also, how do they know that Anna is going to stay a different person when she comes out of the prison? Like, I just don't understand how it works. And I just found that overall to be really frustrating and unsatisfactory. Alright guys, I hope that gives you a little more insight into why I didn't enjoy this book and why I really disliked that ending. If you've read this book, let me know your thoughts on my thoughts down in the comment section. Even if you disagree with me, even if you really enjoyed this book, I know that most people have. So don't be afraid to leave some differing opinions in the comment section. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. That is all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bookworms, keep reading. Bye.